So we've mobilised and we've stabilised. Now it's time to integrate with some drills to improve our hip hinge pattern. Now we're going to focus on the kettlebell. You can sub this out for a dumbbell, but you can also progress this into barbell training. But what we're focusing on and what the dumbbell or the kettlebell gives us is that asymmetrical loading to work on those sides individually, to really highlight our weaknesses, to improve our pattern as a whole. So our first integration drill is our basic kettlebell deadlift. Now, our start position is bell between the feet, handle in line with the toes. We're going to find that hinge pattern. We're going to load into our chain, keeping the weight shifted to our heels, and our hands come around the bell. Now, the idea of sucking the shoulders to the hips is an important one because we don't want that back to round through the movement. So we simply hinge, hands on, set shoulders, and we drive up into that start position. Now, we can add that extra challenge by adding 2 bells where we can hinge down, hands on, set shoulders, and drive up into that position. Now that's going to challenge left and right side because we don't have that fixed hand position on a barbell. And we're simply lowering down under control. The bells go back between the feet and return to that top position. We shouldn't round at the back, and we should be able to maintain that neutral spine throughout. So that's our basic kettlebell deadlift. The next drill we can do, say we have a bit of problems with maintaining those set shoulders and those bells pull away from ourselves, like so, in the bottom of the movement. This could cause rounding, and basically we're not stable through the shoulders. Let's do a bit of an R&T drill using our trusty little dowel and our band, which will help us keep those lats or shoulders set, which won't let the bell pull away from the body. Now we're going to take a bit of tension here. We want to get into a position where our feet are shoulder width apart, but we can feel that dowel being pulled away from us. From here, we hinge down into position, keeping that bar just off the shins. If we feel this happen, that's not ideal. So all we do is set shoulders, pull that back in, and stand up into position here. Now we can do this with a partner, or we can do it with a fixed anchor point like we've got here. But this is a great little drill in helping you maintain that vertical bar path, keep those lats switched on, shoulders set, which will help you keep that neutral spine throughout the movement. The next stage we have is an asymmetrical kettlebell deadlift. Now the reason why I didn't show that earlier is because I wanted to show the positioning of the shoulders and setting your lats, i.e. sucking your shoulders to your hips to maintain that neutral spine. Now we go back to a single bell here. And the idea is now we're going to asymmetrically load it. So instead of having both hands on or a kettlebell in each hand, we're going to have a single hand and we still have to maintain that position. Now this is going to be affected by the body trying to rotate out of position, and we're trying to resist that movement. We can also go to a suitcase version where the bell is outside of our feet. Now this challenges that anti-rotation component just that little bit more and allows you to really break down that single side patterning issue if you've found one. The next version is our single leg. So we've tried breaking it down by unloading different sides of the hands. Now it's time to split the legs and really open up those issues on the left and right side on our lower quadrant. So we're going to start with our kickstand deadlift. Now instead of going straight into single leg deadlifts and not being able to maintain that neutral spine, we're going to take a B stance, which is our toes in line with our heels on that front leg, and we're simply loading into our hinge like so. This is the front leg we're talking about. The rear leg should have minimal weight on it, should feel that load through the hammy and the glute on that front leg, and we're driving up to that top position. This allows you to test each side, notice if there's any limitations or restrictions in there, and you can go back through, mobilise, stabilise, and improve from there. The next is our single leg deadlift versions. Now there's 2 types we can consider here, and it's all about varying degree of difficulty. Now if we're in a single leg deadlift position and we have that bell on the side that's down. It's called an ipsilateral deadlift, and that's easier than if we have that opposite side loaded. So looking at that now, we have to maintain that nice neutral spine. Now remember, a key important point here, it's not about depth, it's about control through the pattern. So if you're only moving partially through the pattern but you're under control, that's the priority over getting that bell to the ground. We can work towards that later. So as we're in this position, same side loaded, we're simply under control, driving up, maintaining that neutral spine. Now you've got a single leg component and a single arm component. So there's a lot of anti-rotational aspects here that you have to stabilise against. Now the final version is our contralateral, which is our opposite hand to that down leg, and this is the most difficult version, and we have to maintain that anti-rotation there. Now don't forget, we've got the opposite side that's unloaded off the floor trying to pull us out. So we have to brace against that. And we're driving out. As you can see, it's all about slow, steady, and calm movements. We don't overload it, or we don't try and race through it. It's all about that neutral spine position and resisting that rotation that's going to pull us into a bad spot.